So they say America is about to lose her sovereignty, and we're about to lose it to the same bandits that we fought to free her from 300 years ago. So they say we're about to lose our sovereignty, and we're about to lose our sovereignty to the same bandits we fought to free her from 300 years ago. So they say America is about to lose her sovereignty, and we're about to lose our sovereignty to the same bandits that we fought to free her from 300 years ago. They say the IMF is going to move in and take control of our economy from little brother at the Federal Reserve. If the IMF is the correct choice to run for our economy, and that is what they're doing, right? You're running for our economy. And I have a question for you. Why doesn't the IMF or the World Bank specialize in building nations? Why did you have to wait until America had already built herself and fought for her sovereignty before moving in to loan us money? Because you do not come in the name of creation or peace, but you come in the name of war. The fractional reserve banking system, put simply, is balanced by war. The fractional reserve banking system is in a thesis versus antithesis relationship with war. The IMF and these types of banks do not specialize in building nations. They specialize in taking control. They usually wait until nations have already been built, at least partially, until they've been at least partially developed before moving in to take control. It's a scam. It's like waiting for someone to build a house before offering to sell them that house. If you build it, they will come. The hordes of fractional reserve bankers move in with their endless supply of paper that they will print up in huge quantities over time. Everyone falls for this delusion, believing that this paper they print up is real wealth. People need to begin to understand what real wealth is. Money isn't some infallible foundation that they could hold up the entire world with. Because it's the same thing always happens. They print up more money than there is businesses and property and reality. So the fantasy begins to take control. And they have to keep creating more of it because the rich 1% are told that they can make millions of dollars per year just on interest. As if the money can now reproduce itself. It's now become a real organism that can reproduce itself. And they know it gets to the point where it doesn't make any sense anymore. And what do they do to balance the books? They have to blow the books up. They blow up records in the Twin Towers. They blow up whole countries in war. They blow up the system and say, okay, the books are now balanced. Who wants to borrow some more money? And then again and again, some of you agree to be super rich, making fortunes off the fornication of money, basically, and the other 90% of you agree to be super poor. And just like you could trace the interest shooting up money into your private bank, the number, or you could imagine the number spiraling up. Are they inventing, producing, growing, exporting? Are they doing anything real? Are they creating anything? No. They're living off the illusion that is throwing everything off balance. So where does this illusion come from? Well, imagine the rich people's bank accounts growing. Imagine a meter of their money gaining interest and shooting up. Then picture the national deficit, the meter. And then you could imagine that meter shooting up too. So as the money, as our national deficit grows, and we sink further and further, and we spiral further and further into debt, you got some rich people over there with their bank accounts going up and up and up and up. And where's it all going? It's going to pay the interest to feed these ever-growing rich. And where's it all coming from? It's coming from your national debt. Some agree to be super rich with liquidated dollars, and others agree to be in super debt. And in the middle, you have the banks making money hand over fist with this arrangement. And then what's the answer to that? The answer to that is more greed? No, it isn't. So after the fractional reserve banking system moves in and establishes itself, then the super banks get together with the haves and agree to do a bit of mischief to the have-nots. So I'm here to say that you're not going to get away with it. You're not going to get away with it on my watch. I've seen you. You could fake these other sallies, but you ain't going to punk me, pal. You may pull the wool over their eyes, but I've seen your methods, and I know where you're taking these people of the United States of America. And I'm here to tell you that you're not going to do that around me. This is our land, and you're not going to get away with it without a fight. You may got them all tame and politically correct land, but it's the Wild West. This is our land, and you're not going to get away without. This is our land, and you're not going to get away with it without a fight. You may got them all tame and politically correct land, but it's the Wild West anywhere else, and you better believe. The reason I'm standing up to you right now is the same reason others had to stand up to you in the past. America has been far from perfect, but if we lose her now, the world will sink halfway into poverty and halfway into technological slavery. It's not going to be a brave new world. It's going to be the land of techno trash with implants stuck in their heads. But if we force ourselves to get back on track, we could correct the flaws and move forward and stay a force of benevolence and justice in the world. When we evolve, we cannot destroy our foundations. We cannot build upwards by ripping apart the ground floor and then taking that material and building upward with it. We must remember what made countries strong in the past. The bankers are all too willing to have you forget what made America the world power it is, and they want us to fall from grace. So instead of joining ranks with all the third world countries who became victimized by the super banks, who got scammed by them, I'm here for one man out of many to say, no, we're not going to do that. And you could threaten us all you want and confuse the situation all you want with your chicken hawk, technical babble, contract babble, but we're not going to fall for it. This is our country. We in America are not just consumers. We in America have a goal for the human race and a plan for achieving a truly evolved state for humanity. Yet to you, the shadowy IMF who promised a solution, but by your own record have only brought war and destruction and thievery to the nations you possess, you who demolish economies and remain the cause of such destabilization, and then like the local mafia, you move in to offer protection. Not around me, you're not. And all you little minions, all you little Gordon Gekkoites, I have news for you. Gordon Gekko is just another greedy sucker who fell for another fractional reserve banking scam. Gordon Gekko is a chump sitting at the high stakes table in Las Vegas with a bunch of losers, pimped out and holding a shitload of plastic chips. You think you're all big and bad with your liquidated dollars? The reason you have so much of it is because it's play money. It's fake. It's bullshit. You might think some of my reports are out there, but nothing is out there in La La Land is your freaking economic policies. And these criminals have you believing that true wealth doesn't come from creating something, developing something, working with your own hands, and on something real or exporting a product. This is what we had to do to build this nation out of the rugged land we had settled, and we were enslaved. And we fought for our freedom. But now they have you think you're going to get all fat on interest and thinking wealth is when money reproduces itself artificially in bank accounts. Where does money come from? Oh, it's when a mommy dollar and a daddy dollar love each other very, very much and they get together in someone's bank account and they make little baby dollars? No. That's not the way true wealth is created. That's not the way superpowers are made. It's made out of sweat and tears and muscle and true engineering. But while they have you trading everything real for your imaginary liquidated dollars, we have lost sight of everything real. Everything we built, and we're willing to hand it over. Are you willing to hand over your women, your children, your families, your freedom, your future? Because in the end, this is where it's going to go. First, they want your economy, then they want your military, then they want your minds, and then they want to destroy your wives and families and your children, and then they'll go for your soul. I know where these guys are leading you. I'm telling you, the solutions are easy to see if you simplify the problem. They take simple things, and then they make it all advanced and difficult to understand. You must remain American. You must maintain American sovereignty at all costs. I'll repeat that. You must maintain American sovereignty at all costs. If any foreign tells you difference and you tell them to come to see me and I'll take care of it. You tell them to come here and you look me in my eyes and we'll have a little discussion over what their plans are. You must do whatever you can to remain a sovereign nation. A sovereign America is the only hope for a better world. Something has happened, something beyond all rational or scientific explanation. And how did it start? Well, I met the bad guys, and they decided to introduce themselves. And the first thing they did to try to reason with me. Then they tried to impress me with women and with power. Then they tried to possess me. Then they tried to frame me. Then they tried to hurt me and the ones I love. Then they tried to kill me again and again. Then the big guys stepped in who'd been watching from the shadows, and then it all began again. Throughout all this, I thought, as far as my commanding my leaders, I stood alone. And I preached to those who would listen, and I preached to those who would try to destroy me, that I stood for an order beyond theirs. And I wasn't afraid of death. And I went through death, and I faced death multiple times. And then something happened, and I realized then that I didn't stand alone. And as long as I stood for the force of free and benevolent humanity, the force of free and benevolent humanity stood behind me. And we are the strong. We are the ones. We are the strong. We are the ones who made it. Through reincarnation, we will live forever. But there are those who want to stop this great awakening, because they know of the true power. They know of the true power from which they run. Alright, let's see how that turned out.
When you're making paper, you gotta learn some rules to go with it. You gotta learn the difference between guns and butter. There are two types of niggas in this world. There are niggas with guns and niggas with butter. Now what are the guns? The guns.
That's the real estate.
Well, there are niggas with guns and niggas with butter. Now what are the guns? The guns, that's the real estate. The stocks and bonds, artwork, shit that appreciates with value. What's the butter? Cars, clothes, jewelry, all that other bullshit that don't mean shit after you buy it. That's what it's all about. Guns and butter, baby.
Turn up the game just a little. This is our secret. Forever and always.